Hey you guys. So we have a storm coming, supposedly, today and Friday and Saturday. So we'll see what we can get done. I worked really hard yesterday to get some more posts in. I was going to... Oh, somebody heard me. Hi, baby. That's a good girl. That's a good girl. Yeah. Somebody else has their eye on us. So I was actually going to rainproof the barn yesterday. But I remembered I had all these bags of cement for the fence laying out here to get rained on. So I continued working on the posts. So now they start way up there, come all the way down here. And I've almost finished. Out of 23 holes, I believe, all of them were a cinch to dig, except these last two. For some reason, these two were hard. So I filled them with water, and I'm going to do that this morning. So all of these will be done, and I won't have any cement bags laying out for the rain. And then over the next couple of days, I'll start working on putting the cross rails on all of them. Morning, Daisy. Morning. Hi. So I think one of the most common questions or comments on the last video was about Daisy's halter. Some people said make sure it's loose enough for her face to grow. Some people said it should not be on all the time. I'm going by what the breeder told me. And she put the halter on, so I'm assuming it's how it's supposed to be. Right now, while she is kind of skittish around us and kind of wants to run away, the halter is on so that in case of emergency or some reason we need to get a hold of her, we can do it. I mean, there's no way right now that as small of a calf as she is, she's strong. And there's no way to grab her and try to put that on her without her getting away. So I don't want the halter on for long. I understand that it could be like it could get caught on something, but most of the time we're here. She's checked on a lot. So right now I feel okay with it. There's not a lot in here that it could get caught on. Some people in our area leave halters on for emergencies like fire. You want to get your hands on your cow and get them into a trailer and out. We are looking for a trailer so that we can be prepared. But for now, the halter is going to stay on. I will make sure that it's not too tight. And then hopefully, sooner rather than later, she can go without it. Hi, baby. Hi, Daisy. I think we need to get some fly spray on you. Another question I got was, what am I going to do with all this manure? Well, if you watch my other channel, Next Level Gardening, you probably already know that. I'm going to use it in gardening. It does have to age 6 months to a year before you can use it on the garden, so I'm going to be piling it up in piles. And then another question I keep getting, which surprised me, but I guess we have new viewers all the time, so some people are sad that Daisy's going to be, kept in this tiny enclosure. Well, that's only right now, and that's what she's used to. At the breeder, she was in something like this. However, that's not the long-term plan. We are working on all of this behind me, close to a half an acre of pasture grass. The holdup is basically the dirt that we're bringing in. I mean, we got to bring in a lot of dirt. We've already brought probably 2,000 cubic yards in, and there's probably another 1,500 to 2,000 to go. We did get another load yesterday, so there's 40 cubic yards here waiting to go down here to cover all of these logs. Bill, depending on weather, might be coming Friday or Saturday to take care of that. So I'm just as anxious, or maybe more anxious than Daisy, to get this pasture completed. I just dream of the day when I will be walking along here and all you will see behind me is green grass and trees going down that fence line. It's coming. Look what we have here. Hi. Hello. You like Daisy yet? We're getting there. So this size pasture will be more than adequate for Daisy, who is a mini cow, or will be a mini cow. She's a mini calf right now. She will not get a ton bigger. She'll get maybe 3 to 4 inches taller than she is right now. And it takes about 2 years with this breed to get to full size. So she's 6 months old right now, so another year and a half. Has anybody noticed this climbing rose on the entrance to the cottage? That. Wallerton Old Hall is the name. It's gonna look awesome when it fills in. So I was able to get the other hay bale up here. So I got the oat hay and some alfalfa for supplementation. Got it on a pallet and under a tarp. It is inside, but the rain can splash from the back. So we got that all protected now. All right, you girls ready for some breakfast? Hold on, hold on. As far as Daisy's diet, she eats half as much as a normal sized cow as well. Right now she is on hay, and when the pasture's done, she will be on a mix of hay and grass. And as that pasture develops, hopefully it will be more grass than hay. Breakfast time, Daisy. Come and get it. No want any yet? Not hungry? All right, well, there was some still left in there, so she may not be ready for that yet. Or maybe it was just that I was standing by the feeder. Rude. So we showed Noah the video yesterday and had him listen to her chewing. And we asked him what he thought it sounded like. And he hasn't been to Chuck E. Cheese in years. And that was the first thing he said. I was surprised. And a couple of you agreed, though. So we're not the only ones. Okay, now everybody's fed. I need to stop talking and get these last posts in before the rain starts. I'm also going to be putting up the rain protection. Now, originally I said I was going to be using the plastic corrugated panels. We went and bought more yesterday because I only had 2. We bought the rest, and it was like $200 for 8 more panels. It doesn't rain here that much, and it just kills me to spend that much money. So Emily said, well, why don't you just put the same plastic that you put on the hoop house? Yeah, it doesn't have to look fancy. It's only 3 months out of the year. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be returning those and using the roll of plastic. Okay, it's all done. All the fence posts are in. So we're gonna have 3 gates in this long fence, about 250 feet. First gate is right here. So moving up from this gate, head on up Now right here, so this will be a fence, but right here on this side of the fence is going to be a walkway down to the pasture this way. And that walkway will be right against the fence posts, so I'll level it off a bit, a little terracing. And then the path will run down that way. Now on this side of the path, between the patio and the path, is all going to be tropical trees, tropical foliage, as a backdrop to the tropical garden that's over here. So you won't eventually be able to see the pasture from the tropical area. So coming back up this way, the fence continues on past the avocado tree, and then this is the second gate, which will take you on around the berm around the pond. And then the third gate right here for the upper pasture, which is across from the path that comes down from the cottage. And then the fence will end right here at the chain link fence. Now along this chain link fence, there's either going to be vines, bushes, something that gives a backdrop here. And then we've got trees planted. Liquid ambers are showing some fall color. And then there will be trees all the way down the chain link fence line down to the road. So that'll block out all of our neighbors' houses and just give a nice serene backdrop to the pond. The hay storage is not always going to be in the cottage. That is temporary until I build my old water wheel mill. I mentioned this on a video a long time ago. It still hasn't left my brain, so we're doing it. So way over on the other side of the pond, but in front of the trees, in front of the fence, is going to be a mill with a water wheel. And you'll have access to it from the berm walking through the trees. And in that mill will be the hay storage. And we'll put a gate over here in the corner of the chain link fence so that we can come through from the road, bring the hay right in off of the driveway that comes up, and right into the mill. And then I can take it right down through the pasture to the barn as needed. Now that probably won't be till next year, so I'm not running to Home Depot to get some more wood right away. All right, I've got my plastic sheeting, and this is 6 mil, so it's really thick. It's what you put on hoop houses. So I'm gonna start putting this up on the barn to protect from rain. I picked Daisy some fresh grass, and Emily's feeding it to her. It's the next day, and we had a pretty good rain yesterday. It was enough to get the ground wet, like soaking in wet. A lot of times our rains will just barely get the top millimeter of the soil wet, and that's it. But this was pretty steady all day. So it's interesting now to see kind of what this is like under here, what the pasture's like. Now granted, this is one rain, but it does show me where I need to focus, going forward for water management and keeping things from getting soaked and flooded. When here in the cottage, of course, the hay is on a pallet and was covered with a tarp, so it was fine. But what you can see here is that, of course, that's all wet. That's where the runoff from the roof goes because there's no gutter there yet. And then it's kind of soaked out here. In the hen house, it stayed dry. If some of you remember last winter, it was flooded in there. So nothing like that yet. Of course, we didn't have a roof on the place either, right? So taking Daisy some hay. In the pasture, though, I was actually really happy with what I see out there. The water that bypassed our 2 gates and kept coming down this way actually caused a little erosion right here where the dump trucks come in. Oh wow, it's actually really kind of not a lot wet. So eventually when all of this is done and we can put a fence back up here, we'll have the asphalt people come in and put a curb pretty much all along this area to keep most of the water from coming into our property that way. However, what I am excited about is that the plan that I had for this pond to catch all of the water that comes down our driveway, I'll see if I can throw some footage in here from last winter. So that would come down that driveway, down this driveway, and right through here and out into the pasture and continue on and erode the entire pasture. Well, yesterday, there's a little erosion right here where the water spills in, but honestly, where the pond is going to be caught all of it. And there's no erosion past this berm down through the pasture. Now, it was one rain. I know that. But at least it shows me where I need what is working and what could use some help. Now, yesterday I didn't get to show you the finish because we didn't finish. It started pouring immediately, like quick, and it went from nothing to pouring. So we left what was there. It was good enough and went into the house. But this gives me more time to think about, what I want to do here. Daisy handled the rain pretty well. She stayed over here in this dry corner with all the straw. Want some fresh hay? Look what I've got. I got some hay. I got some hay. Is that good stuff, Daisy? Yeah. Rain doesn't bother Bella a bit. Yesterday when it started raining, now granted, it could be one of the first times in her life she's seen the rain, but she basically just stared up at it as it poured down on her face. 10 minutes later, she figured maybe I should get somewhere dry, so she spent most of the day up under the cover on the deck. But this morning, there was a big puddle that goes in front of our garage, and I was out there getting ready to take Noah to school, and she rolled over on her back to get some belly rubs, and right in the puddle, she doesn't care one bit. Her tail was like this big flopping paintbrush wet. So today I'm getting a late start. Today I had a bit of office work to do, which I hate. I would much rather be outside, but it's got to be done. So what I'm doing today is preparing for tomorrow. And tomorrow my brother-in-law Jeff is going to be coming over, as long as it doesn't rain too bad. And he is going to be helping me finish off the fence. So putting all of the rails on all the way down. Now my concern, is it a concern? I don't know. I'm figuring out what I really want to do. I first was going to put a top and a bottom rail with wire between, but wire is $1 a foot. This is 250 feet. The other idea was to add another 2x4 rung. The corral has 3 rungs, and so this would have 4. But I'm starting to think on a 4-foot tall fence, 4 rungs is going to be pretty obtrusive. Intrusive. It's going to be hard to see through it. It's going to look almost like a wall, I feel. So what I'm going to do right now, just play with a couple of areas here with some 2x4s, put, maybe 4 on one, 3 on another. Because back to pricing, so the wire would be $1 a foot. And if I only had a 2x4 on the bottom and the top, then that would equal out to about the same price. But a 2x4 by 8 is only $3, so that's less. So I'm going to play with a few different things here so that tomorrow when Jeff gets here, I'll be ready for him and we won't have to do all of this then. All right, so here it is with 2. Now, if I did 2, obviously I would have to have the wire. I don't know that I like that. And if I drop the top one down a little bit, then it's lower than 4 feet. Oh, by the way, I got a lot of comments about dogs the size of Bella just being able to jump over a 4-foot fence. That could be true. If that's the case, I can always put an electrical line about a foot taller than the fence. Now that, or even, it doesn't even have to be, it could just be a wire. Because now that she's touched that wire out there, maybe she has a little healthier respect for these. Well, she does. The ones that I have still standing here, even though they're not turned on, she stays away from them. There's always plan B. But right now, let's just figure out plan A. So I'm not loving the 2 rungs. So I have to go with 3. So let's try that. Okay, here's 3 rungs, which I like better. Now I just thought of an idea. There's no way that I could leave it like this because she could easily go right under here. So I would have to have a 4th rung, which is going to cost me, what? I don't know. Haven't done the math, but more. I think even still, she could wiggle her way through these two pieces of wood. So here's an idea I just thought of. Instead of getting 4-foot tall wiring to go from the ground to the top, I could get 2 or 3 foot wiring and just go from here down. Maybe run a tight wire down below that weaves through the wire paneling. Because yeah, she could probably squeeze through this if it was lower down, but right here she would have to like aim her body up and through there perfectly, and I just don't see that happening. Now I could be wrong. Another thing I could do is leave it like this and just run wire halfway between each one of these rungs. Similar to what I did right here with the blackberry trellis. Probably a thicker gauge than that, but that would be way cheaper than getting an entire 200 and something foot woven wire or welded wire. And that would actually be invisible almost. You really couldn't see it running between those boards. Look at the sky today. Is that beautiful? Anyway, so as I'm talking this through with you guys, I'm coming up with other ideas. So I'm thinking, stick with the 3 like this and just run wires between them. I'm gonna do the math on all this, but that sounds like the best idea so far. All right, a little bit different on this one. Now part of it you can't see because of the rosemary, but I basically just left about the width of a 2x4 at the top of each post, rather than this one is flush with the top. I really think I like this one better. What do you guys think? All right, it's the next day, and I just got back from, no, you gotta stay down. Look at this dog. Look at this nasty dog. You got mud all, sit, sit, sit. Good girl. Look at these paws. She still wants to hold hands, but look at them. Look at them. They were even worse about an hour ago, weren't they? I know. Fortunately, you've got magic fur, and in an hour, it will all be cleaned off, and you'll be a white dog again. Anyway, I just got back from Lowe's, got the rest of the wood that we need for the rails on the fence. Just have to unload them. Jeff will be here in a couple of hours, so we'll be able to get started. Get down. Thank you. So I'm gonna get this video live and get ready for him, and I'll see you on the next video.